Hello my dear students, a very good morning to all of you. I hope you guys are staying safe at your home with your family members, besides taking very good care of your studies. For your kind information, I am here to start the class 11 syllabus. This is my first lecture and I will be dealing with the set theory. So before dealing set theory, I must let you know that this particular branch of mathematics, that is set theory, is very important, and this plays a very important role while dealing with other branches, especially in calculus. In trigonometry also you will be finding that set theory is used. Without having a very good knowledge of set theory, you cannot do well in probability theory also, because in sets you will be going through the relation as well as function. The real functions will be dealt with in details in class 11 only. Though this is in your syllabus, in class 11 syllabus, but for class 12 as well as for competitive exams, this topic is very essential as well as important. So do take care of this particular topic, because without having a very good knowledge of sets, you cannot do or you cannot cope up with relation as well as function. And once you have missed function, naturally you have missed the whole mathematics, because once Ramanujan, the great mathematicians, told that if you have not gone through the function properly, you haven't done anything in mathematics. So guys, please do take care of this particular topic, because will play a very important role in dealing with other branches of mathematics. So before dealing with the proper or mathematical definition of set theory given by George Cantor, I must let you know that what is that? Whenever we talk about set, a very common word comes in our mind. And what is that? The collection. Yes, undoubtedly. If there is no any collection, you cannot say that set can be formed. But you mind it that all collections cannot be treated as sets mathematically. Because mathematics says that whenever we talk about some questions or some problems, there might not be any confusion. That should be very much clear. So all collections cannot be treated as set. According to George Cantor, only well-defined collection of objects will be treated as set. So mind it. And this particular set word have already been used, not by only you or me, but several people. Even layman also use this particular word. I just give you some example. You always talk about sofa set. You always talk about tea set, key set, a set of soaps, set of clothes, set of boxes, etc. So this is a very important thing. So now mathematically I just go on dealing with this one. According to George Cantor, set is a well-defined collection of distinct and distinguishable objects. The definition I have already written on the board. You may pause the video and note it down. I just read it. According to George Cantor, set is a well-defined collection of distinct and distinguishable objects, and undoubtedly the object or objects which form a given set, they are known as the elements or members or entries. So the objects which are responsible to form the set can be, what is that termed as? Either you say it element or you may be saying it member or entry, whatever you just wish to say, no matter. Any word can be used for the given object which form a set. Now one by one I am going to discuss about these particular words, whatever have already been used in this definition of sets. So this is the basic concept of set. You must be knowing about the definition. Unless or until you do have a very good knowledge of the definition of set, nothing can be done ahead. So just take care. We have got three words underlined: well-defined, distinct as well as distinguishable. First of all, I just deal with these two, one distinct and distinguishable. Undoubtedly these two words are important, but not as important as well-defined before the word collection, because if you want to write the definition without these two words, distinct and distinguishable, that will do. But if you miss to write well-defined word before the word collection, the definition is not completed properly. naturally. And one more thing I must say you, that a lot of guys, or in several books I have found that they use two word, well-defined word before the word objects. That means they say that set is a collection of well-defined objects. So you don't have to write that one. That is undoubtedly incorrect. This word well-defined should be used before the collection, because whenever we talk about objects or whatever is lying in this universe, every object is well-defined. Here we are bothered or concerned about only well-defined collection, right? Suppose I ask you that collection of vowels of English alphabet. Naturally you will be saying, sir, A, E, I, O and U for vowels in English alphabet. Only 5 vowels are there. Okay. But if I ask you that collection of 3 vowels of English alphabet, here the answers may differ from man to man. One person can say that AEI, that is correct. The other can also say that AEO. He or she is again correct. Someone may say, sir, IOU. Third answer is also correct. So a lot many answers can be given for this particular question whenever we talk about the collection of 3 vowels. So here you just mind it, whenever we say AEI, 3 vowels, undoubtedly these 3 vowels are well defined. Means what? Objects are well defined. But so far as the collection is concerned, the collection is not well defined, because it has got so many answers, and though the confusion is created over here. So we say that the collection should be well defined. Okay, but if I say that collection of to say vowels of English alphabet, undoubtedly everybody's answer will be what? A, E, I, O and U. Likewise, if I talk about the collection of 5 natural numbers, one may say that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, correct. The other may also say that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The third person can also say that 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. All these answers are correct, because we are talking about collection of 5 natural numbers. Naturally, these collection cannot be treated as well defined, and so they cannot be termed as sets. So mathematically set is defined in something in different way. So all collections cannot be taken into consideration as sets. So mind it, right? So now I am going to discuss about distinct and distinguishable. The first word distinct means the elements should be different. If what is that, we are going to consider the objects in the particular collection, those elements must not be repeated at all. As we just discussed about the collection of vowels of English alphabet, undoubtedly 5 vowels are there. If someone asks you that how many vowels of English alphabet are there, he will be saying A, E, I, O and U. That means 5 vowels. Suppose a guy just go on repeating A thrice and says that there are 7 vowels in English alphabet, that is A, E, I, O, U, etc. Then undoubtedly this is ridiculous, because 7 vowels are not existing in English alphabet. So repetition is not allowed whenever we talk about the set. The second thing is the very important one, distinguishable. Distinguishable means you must be able to distinguish, right? You must be able to distinguish means you must have some ability to distinguish that this particular element is going to be considered in the given set or the required set, and these particular elements cannot be taken into consideration. For example, just I told you that collection of vowels of English alphabet we are talking about, undoubtedly we are not going to include B or C or D as elements in that particular collection, because B, it is either B or C or D, etc. They are not vowels. So we must be able to distinguish that which elements should be taken into consideration and which should be rejected. If someone asks you that collection of teachers of this locality or any city or town, naturally only teachers will be taken into consideration in that particular collection. No students are going to be included. But at the other side, if I talk about the collection of students of that locality, undoubtedly no any teacher will be included. That one means what? You must have ability to check whether which element should be considered in that particular set and which should not be considered at all, right? So these two words are very simple to understand, distinct as well as distinguishable. Now the main word is what? Well defined. Well, one more thing I must say you, though we teachers are not allowed to teach in Hindi or in other language, in any regional language or Hindi also. We have to talk or we have to teach in English only. But a few guys just in my comment box requested to say something in Hindi also. That's why, just keeping in view their request, I just requested to the management and got permission to deal with somewhere in Hindi also. So I will be teaching in English undoubtedly, and somewhere I shall be translating it into Hindi to make you understand. So I just recite you some examples. कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स के जरिए मैं आपको समझाने की कोशिश करता हूँ, so that you should not have any doubt regarding this particular word, well defined, whether it should be used before collection or before objects. I have just written some examples on the board. One by one I am just going to deal with that, so that every doubt should be clarified immediately. Just watch. Collection, which is left side we have written not well defined and hence doesn't define a set. Some examples have been given. The right side we have written well defined and hence defines a set. Just go on watching. The first example is set of three vowels. Okay, set of three vowels we are talking about. Naturally, someone may take AEU, someone may take AEO, some other may take OEU. Likewise, we know that 10 such examples can be given. That means different 10 persons have got different answers. That is why this is not well defined. But at the same place, if you talk about set of first three vowels of English alphabet, naturally this would constitute a well defined collection and hence it would be termed as a set. The second example I have given, set of 5 natural numbers. Undoubtedly set of 5 natural numbers, if we talk about many collection of 5 natural numbers can be taken into consideration. So this is not a set in fact. But if we say that set of first 5 natural numbers, naturally it will constitute a set. If we talk about the collection of 3 prime ministers of independent India, what will be that? That collection won't be well defined. Okay, and if we talk about the set of first 3 prime ministers of independent India, naturally the collection is well defined and it will constitute a set. So this is all about this particular word, well defined, whether it should be used just before collection or just before objects. So far as the objects are concerned, whatever we have taken in the left hand side, which is not in fact defining the sets, these collections are not defining the sets, they are also well defined. But on the basis of that objects are well defined, we cannot say that the collection is well defined and hence that collection cannot be treated as a set. So this is all about those 3 words which is used in the definition of sets. I just repeated. Distinct, that means elements should be different. Distinguishable means you must be able to distinguish that which element should be taken into consideration for that particular set and which should be rejected. And the third one is the most important one, and that is none other than the well-defined collection. So collection must be well-defined. Now I'm going to deal with some symbols which is frequently used in sets, as well as talking about the representation of set and then types of set. The symbols are Now I'm going to deal with the notations as well as symbols. How will you notate a set? The set is generally denoted by the capital letters of English alphabet as A, B, C, X, Y, Z, etc. But so far as its elements are concerned, they are usually denoted by the small letters of English alphabet as A, B, C, etc. Means sets by capital letters A, B, C, X, Y, Z, and elements by small letters X, Y, Z. So whenever we go on representing a set or denoting a set, we shall be using the capital letters of English alphabet, and the elements should be used by what? The small letters of English alphabet. Now some symbols I am going to talk about, which is frequently used in mathematics as well as in set theory also, and they are so one by one, just go on having a look. The first one is this one is like colon and oblique. This is such that. Second one, for all, for every. This symbol is used for all or for every. Third symbol we frequently use. This is a Greek letter known as epsilon, but here we shall be using it belongs to. Belongs to or is an element of. ELT have written is an element of. Likewise, and if it is written like this, means okay, it has been cut, then this is doesn't belong to. Doesn't belong to. Okay. One more important symbol is this is known as there exists. There exists. This symbol is used for there exists. So this is for such that, this is for every or for all, this is for belongs to or is an element of, this is doesn't belong to. If you want some examples, I just show you. You may write like this: 5 belongs to n. What is n? N is the set of natural numbers. 5 is belonging to n. But -3 doesn't belong to n. Naturally, -3 is not a natural number, so -3 doesn't belong to n. So these are some symbols which we shall be using while dealing with this one. Now we are going to categorize set. Set are categorized into two parts. One of them is what? A finite set, and the other one is infinite set. And then we shall be talking about the types of finite sets. Right? So just have a look. Finite set and infinite set. The definition, what is that? The name of these sets defines itself. right? Finite set means a set having countable number of elements. That means the elements can be counted of that particular set. But so far as infinite set is concerned, the counting of the elements doesn't come to an end. If we talk about the collection of natural numbers, undoubtedly infinite number of natural numbers are there. So that will be what? An infinite set. Set of real numbers, set of rational numbers, set of integers and all that. Those are all infinite sets. But finite set, a lot of things are there. Set of weekdays, naturally 7 elements are there. Set of vowels, 5 elements should be there. Set of first 5 natural numbers, naturally again 5 elements are there. So in this way you will be getting a lot of finite set. So if the elements of that particular set is counted, then we will be saying that that set is a finite set. Otherwise, if the counting doesn't come to an end, means what? The everlasting one is going on. Naturally, we will be saying that is an infinite set. If someone asks you that collection of stars or collection of mosquitoes in a locality, undoubtedly those collections or the sets would be considered as what? Infinite sets. So these are few examples of finite and infinite. I just write over here, for finite set we write A is equal to what? 1, 2, 3. Okay, B is equal to A, E, I, O, U, right, etc. But so far as infinite sets are concerned, this is right n. You know very well that the letter n is used for the set of natural numbers. W is used for the set of whole numbers. Z or I are generally used for the collection of integers. So I just write 1, 2, 3 and so on. The counting will not come to an end. That's why this is an infinite set. Whole number again same thing, 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. Whatever integers, -2, -1, 0 and so on. Infinite number of elements are lying in all these sets. So set of integers, if you talk about set of positive integers, you will be using this symbol. For set of negative integers, just put minus over here. Set of reals, R. Set of rationals, Q. This is rational. Real. For set of reals, we shall be using R. For set of integers, Z or I. For set of rationals, we shall be using Q. For set of positive integers, you write, just put plus sign over the set, over the what is that letter Z, and put negative sign over the letter capital Z. You will be getting the set of negative integers, set of positive integers. If you talk about the set of non-zero reals or non-positive, non-negative, we talk. So this is, if you write Z plus union, this is gone. That means 0 is also taken into consideration over here. If you write Z minus, so what is this one? The first one is the set of non-negative integers. So there is a little difference between a positive integers and non-negative integers. Whenever we talk about positive integers, undoubtedly we are talking about what? The natural numbers. They are called positive integers. But whenever we talk about non-negative integers, that means what? The collection of all those integers which are not negative. We know that 0 is a neutral number. It is neither negative nor positive. So 0 is included in this one. So non-negative integers constitute what? None other than the whole numbers. So this is the difference between a positive integer as well as a non-negative. Likewise, if we talk about negative integers, we shall be taking -3, -2 and so on. This we are going to take for negative integers. But if we talk about the non-positive integers, again 0 will be included in that particular set because 0 is also not positive. So whenever we talk about, just be careful, whenever we talk about positive or non-negative, they are not in fact same. Non-negative is something different from what? Positive integers. Again, non-positive is different from negative integers. Right? So this is a few examples for finite set as well as infinite set. A lot of questions you will be getting in your NCERT book related to what? Finite and infinite set. Now, so far as the representation of set is concerned, we are going to talk about here. How will we represent a set? Suppose A is equal to given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something like that. How will we represent it? How are we going to represent it? There is a method to represent it. Two methods are there. The first one is tabular method and the second one is what? Set builder method. So by using these two methods, we just use to represent a set. The first one I am going to talk about the tabular method. So methods of representing a set. So there are two methods we just talked about. The first one is tabular or roster method or roster form, and the second one is set builder form. The first of all, the mathematicians used this very roster form, and after defining some sets, they found that that every set was not possible to represent in roster form. Then this particular second representation came into existence. That means set builder form came into existence when we found that a lot of sets are there which cannot be represented in tabular form. Though ahead we shall be watching that most of the sets can be represented in either of these two forms. Means what? Whether you write in tabular form or in set builder form. And that is why a lot of questions related to this one is given in your book also, where it is asked to change the tabular form into set builder form or rule form, and the question is given in terms of set builder form, and that is needed to be transformed into tabular form. So questions should be there. We will be doing the questions also. I will also be helping you in some of the questions, but later on let me finish this topic first. So tabular form, what do you do in tabular form? In fact, in tabular form we just locate the elements. What are the elements of that particular set, whatever we are discussing about, and just go on writing all those elements, separating with commas, and put it under the curly bracket. That means the braces. No other bracket can be used to represent a set in tabular form. Only curly brackets are allowed. So please mind it. You can't use the parenthesis or the square bracket or some other thing. You have to use only the curly bracket. So if we talk about the collection of vowels of English alphabet, suppose we will be writing V is equal to, I just write A, E, I, O and U. यानी इस मेथड में हमने क्या किया, कर्ली ब्रैकेट के अंदर सारे एलिमेंट्स को कॉमा दे करके रिप्रेजेंट कर दिया, A, E, I, O, U. अब रही बात कि हाउ मेनी एलिमेंट्स आर देयर इन दैट पर्टिकुलर सेट. तो एलिमेंट को रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए हम लोग n का इस्तेमाल करते हैं. n मीन्स व्हाट? द नंबर ऑफ एलिमेंट्स इन द गिवन सेट, या फिर कार्डिनल नंबर ऑफ the given set. I will be discussing about that one also. First you try to understand that how in tabular form the sets are represented. A, E, I, O, U. Just go and watch it. The second one I just give you. A is equal to 1, 2, 3. What is this? Again tabular form. Suppose I write B is equal to, a lot of examples can be given. Collection of first 5 natural numbers. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of these are represented separate, where the elements are separated with each other by commas and kept under the braces. So only braces are allowed to use over here. So this is all about the representation of set in tabular form. So इस फॉर्म में रिप्रेजेंट करने के लिए आपको इसी तरह से लिखना पड़ेगा, दूसरा कोई तरीका नहीं है. हाँ, अब रही बात कि a lot of sets are there which cannot be represented in tabular form only. Suppose I talk about set of line, what is that, points on. अब ए भी एक लाइन सेगमेंट है. अब इस पर हम लोग पॉइंट्स की बात करें तो यू नो दैट a lot of infinite number of points are lying on the set what AB. So every element cannot be defined properly in this very form. So we don't use this tabular form to represent this one. So again, if we ask you that the collection of rational number between 1 and 2, collection of real numbers between 2 and 5. You know that between two real numbers or between two rational numbers, infinite number of rationals or reals exist. So if I say that what would be the real numbers between 1 and 5, naturally no one can say that how many elements are there. And what is the neighboring element of 1, that also cannot be predicted exactly. Because if you say that sir 1.1 will be the neighboring element of 1, someone may say no sir 1.01 is there. Again 1.001 is just before 1.01 or something like that. So no one can say. So if you say that how many elements are lying in between any two real numbers, whether it is 1 and 1.001, infinite number of real numbers are there. So in these cases, what is that? The sets cannot be represented in tabular form. And for that, we just used the set builder form to represent those sets. So in this case, what you do, I'm just going to write the same set, the collection of vowels or the set of vowels in this very form also, in order to show you that most of the sets can be represented in either of these forms. So the first one is what? V is equal to, I just write X such that X is a vowel of English alphabet. X is a vowel of English alphabet. Naturally, if you talk about the vowels of English alphabet, X is playing the role of a variable which varies. Naturally, if you talk about the vowels of English alphabet, A, E, I, O, U, that means X is taking 5 values at the same time, A, E, I, O and U. So all those 5 vowels can be considered for the element what? X, whatever we have chosen over here. So in this very form, you have to, this is also called property form or the rule form. We have just used some rule to represent this one, and the rule is what? X is taken in such a way that it is a vowel of an English alphabet. If someone writes that A is equal to X such that X minus 1, X minus 2, X minus 3 is equal to 0. So this is an equation in terms of X. In order to solve this equation, if you go on solving this equation, you will be finding what? The values of X as 1, 2 and 3. So naturally, 3 elements 1, 2 and 3 are the solution of this equation, and so X can assume 3 values 1, 2 and 3. Here we have written 1, 2 and 3 in the form, what is that? Roster form, and here the same thing has been written in state builder form. But so far as the last one, set of points on AB is concerned, if I write this particular set of points on the line segment AB, naturally you have to write like this. I just write P for a set of points. Any symbol can be used by you. This depends upon you. I just write what. You may use Y also. Any variable can be used, whether X or Y or some other thing also you may be using. Y such that Y is a point on the line segment AB. Y is a point on the line segment AB. That means as many points are lying on that very line segment, that those all points have been defined by the variable what? Y. Now no one can say that you have escaped by with what any one of the elements of that particular set. So this is the set builder form or the rule form to represent what? The set. So these two forms are there to represent set. You can very well see over here that most of the sets can be represented in either of these two forms. Problems will also be obtained, or you will be getting problems in your book also. So here this is. Now the next thing we are going to talk about the cardinal number or the number of elements in that particular set. So how will you find that one? For any set A, I just write cardinal number of the set A. That is what? Number of elements in A. So far as the denotation of that one is concerned, that is denoted by NA. You may also be using OA. OA stands for order of A. So if someone asks you that what is the order of the given set, naturally you are being asked about the number of elements of that particular set. So this is denoted by this one, denoted as this one, right? So if A is equal to, suppose I have got 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. That means the first 5 odd natural numbers. So here NA is equal to what? 5. So this is the cardinal number of the given set. Very simple to know, to get the number of. So far as the infinite set is concerned, you cannot have the cardinal number because the counting of the elements doesn't come to an end. So for infinite set, we cannot have the cardinal number. So cardinal number can be obtained for only finite set. केवल finite set के लिए हम लोग cardinal number या order of सेट का फाइंड कर सकते हैं. इनफाइनाइट सेट में तो फाइंड करना असंभव ही है. दैट इज व्हाई वी जस्ट यूज दिस वेरी वन. सो NA is equal to 5. So in this question, if I ask you that set of what, I'm sorry, if I say that if A is, say, suppose A is equal to X such that X square is equal to 1 and X belongs to R. That means X is a real number, and what is the condition over here? What is the rule given over here? That X is in such a way that its square is always equal to 1. So just go on finding the solution of this particular set. What are the solutions? X square is equal to A gives you two values, plus 1 and minus 1. So X square minus 1, X square is equal to 1 implies what? X is equal to plus minus 1. So this set can be written in tabular form as minus 1 and 1, and hence undoubtedly what will be the order of A? Order of A is equal to 2. So this is all about the definition of set. Deliberately we have defined the definition of set. We have discussed about some important symbols to be used. Some notations have also been used over here to make you understand about the sets. And after that we just discussed about the finite set as well as infinite set. The representation of set we have also discussed. And finally we just discussed about the cardinal number of sets. So in the very next class we shall be discussing about the types of finite set, that is empty set, singleton set, pair set, etc., equality of sets, and some other thing also, subset set, proper subset, etc. So this is all about for the day, and in the next class we shall be again meeting over here to discuss about the rest thing of this particular topic. Until then, Thank you very much for watching this video, and do take care of yourself and your family members, and take care of your studies also. Thank you very much.